Hey everyone, in this video we are looking at the Dark Moon Greatsword, which I have equipped here. This is the final reward that you get for completing Ronnie's questline. So I'm not going to go too much into that. It's a fairly involved quest and there's lots of resources online if you need help getting through that. So we'll just primarily be just focused on the weapon itself. I do have it maxed out to plus 10, which is max level for this weapon using Somber Smithing Stones. So we'll look at it from that perspective. Similar to the other videos I've done, we'll look at the stats, the moveset of the weapon, we'll do some damage output comparisons, and then also there are quite a few items that you can play around with and use to enhance the damage of this weapon, which I found kind of fun. So I'll talk about a build that you can do and some examples of some items that can be used to enhance the damage of this weapon, as well as the skill that it comes with Moonlight Greatsword to get some pretty powerful attacks out of it. So we'll look at that as well. So starting off with the stats of the weapon, I have the base level version on the left and the maxed out version on the right. For attack power, you can see it gets both physical and magic, starting out with 82 physical and 98 magic. Once increased to plus 10, that turns into 200 physical and 240 for magic. And then also as a bonus, if you look under the passive effects down at the bottom, you can see it also has frost damage with a frost buildup of 55. In terms of attributes, it uses both strength, dexterity, and intelligence. Pretty heavy on the intelligence side with the requirements of 16 strength, 11 dexterity, and 38 intelligence. And then for attribute scaling, it starts out with a D for both strength and dexterity, and then a C for intelligence. Once upgraded to plus 10, the strength and dexterity remains at a D, however, intelligence increases to a B. For my current build, you can see my stats on the right. I have 40 strength, 25 dexterity, and 68 intelligence, taking advantage of those attribute scaling factors, and that's giving me an additional 80 physical and 269 magic damage. Moving over to the skill called Moonlight Greatsword, you can see the description here where you essentially raise the sword up and then imbue it with additional attack power. And then also will allow you to do kind of a ranged attack as well, which we'll look at. Now we'll look at the various attacks of the weapon. So I'll go through both single-handed and two-handed, looking at both regular and heavy attacks. Starting off with single-handed, we'll do a regular attack combo, a heavy attack combo, a charged heavy attack, and then we'll do a roll regular attack, roll heavy attack, backstep regular attack, backstep heavy attack, sprinting regular attack, sprinting heavy attack, and then here's a jump attack. Alright, switching over to two-handed mode, we'll do a regular attack combo, heavy attack combo, do a roll regular attack, roll heavy attack, backstep regular attack, backstep heavy attack, and then here's a charged heavy attack, and then a jump heavy attack. Finally, looking at the skill of the weapon, which is called Moonlight Greatsword. This has kind of two different aspects to it. So the first is you'll imbue the sword, which gives you just a general damage increase bonus, and that lasts 60 seconds. It costs 40 FP, so we'll do that now. And then it also gives the sword a pretty cool visual effect too, so you can see that's what it looks like when it's active. So as mentioned, that'll last 60 seconds. The other aspect to this is that now your heavy attacks do a ranged attack. So I'll do that here, and you can see you get that Moonlight ranged attack with it. You can tap the button to do a quick attack, or you can also charge it, so I'll hold the button down, and you'll get to do a little heavier ranged attack with that. The other nice thing about this is you notice it's not costing any FP, so as long as the imbued aspect of it is active, you can do as many ranged attacks as you want, and it doesn't use any additional FP, which is nice. Moving on to some damage output examples, I'm primarily going to do this with the sword imbued, but to give you an idea of the damage impact of that with the skill active, currently my sword has 240 plus 269 magic damage. So we'll do a quick regular attack here. That's 454. And then we'll imbue the sword. That will give us an additional 65 magic damage. So that increases to 240 plus 334. And then we'll do another regular attack. And that is increased to 508 for the damage output. Starting off, since the sword, once it's imbued, you can't really do a standard heavy attack since it gets transferred into that ranged attack mode. So we'll start off without the sword imbued and just quickly do the heavy attacks so you can take a look at what that looks like. So we're in single-handed mode now. Here's the heavy attack combo. And this sword really isn't great for heavy attacks. If you notice, it's a fairly slow attack. So we'll switch to two-handed mode and do a heavy attack combo. So that's 613 for each swing. Now we'll switch to the imbued mode. Now with the sword imbued, we'll start with single-handed and do a regular attack combo. So that's 2104. Switching to two-handed, we'll do another regular attack combo. That's 2225. And then also noted with this weapon is that it does come with some frost damage, so if we keep attacking, we'll probably get a frost buildup hit here. So there we go. So that was 1897 for that hit. Switching back to single-handed, we'll do a jump heavy attack. That's 682. And then in two-handed mode, 727. Okay, now looking at the ranged attack. First we'll do just the tap of the button, which is kind of the quick attack. So that's 855. We'll do another one. And now I'll do the charged range attack, which is 1099. So you get a nice little damage bonus there by doing the charged attack. One thing I did test, just wondering if you did that up close, if you'd kind of get a double hit with both the sword and the ranged attack, but it doesn't look like that has an impact, so it's still do an 855 even when you're up close. And then finally, one more thing, just looking at the ranged attack when it gets a frost damage hit. So we'll weaken him a little bit here, and then we'll do a charged ranged attack. So that was 2462 with that additional frost hit. All right, so that was damage output with essentially no items equipped. So now I'm going to go through a build that I kind of ended up with to help maximize the effect of the ranged attack. That's kind of what I focused on. However, some of these items just help the attack power in general. So what I'm going to do is basically just add each item one by one, and then we'll kind of see the stair-step damage increase. So I'll add an item, do an attack, and then you can see the impact, the damage impact, as we increase to kind of the final build. So starting off, I will imbue the sword and just do a charged ranged attack to get our base here. Oh, gotta be a little bit closer than that. So that's 3299. The first item we are going to add, we'll go through our talismans first. So I'm going to add Shard of Alexander. And I'm not going to go through how to get each one of these items, but you can look these up. There's resources online to figure out how to get all these if you don't have them. So this first one greatly boosts the attack power of skills. So we're going to add that, and then we'll do an attack to see the damage output. So we'll do another ranged attack. So that increased it to 3794. Next, we are going to add a similar talisman, which is Godfrey's Icon. So this enhances charged spells and skills. So since this is a charged attack, that will count under this. So we'll add that and see the damage increase from there. So that increases it to 4354. Next, we are going to add Ritual Sword Talisman. So this raises attack power when HP is at maximum. So this is really only going to be impactful if you're at full health. So keep that in mind. But we'll equip that, and you can see the red glow kind of indicating that that's active. So now we'll do another attack. So that's up to 4790. And then finally for our fourth talisman slot, unfortunately, the one I wanted to use I can't get in this playthrough. But there is a Scorpion Charm that raises magic. So there's a magic Scorpion Charm that will raise your magic attack power. So ideally, I would want to try testing that, but the guy that gives it to you is currently dead in my playthrough, so I can't get that. So if you have that, you can try activating it. Otherwise, I just kind of have a 4th slot, so I can do something like Claw Talisman, but that doesn't really impact the ranged attack specifically. So if you have that, that might be an option to test out as well. So moving next after the talismans is we're actually going to use another weapon, which is Commander's Standard. So this weapon has a unique skill that also raises attack power, so we can kind of stack this stuff. So what we're going to do is put it in our 2nd weapon slot, then we can use the skill and then switch back to our Dark Moon Greatsword, get that activated. So now we still have that increase to attack power active, so we can do a charged attack. So that increases to 5748. And then we are going to use a sorcery to increase our attack damage further, which is Terra Magica. So this will create kind of a ring underneath you, and as long as you're nearby or within that ring, your magic attack will be increased. So here's the description if you want to see that. So we'll need a staff in our left hand. So we will activate that. You can see that on the ground. We'll then activate the Rallying Standard, go back to our sword, imbue it. Oh, I need some magic. Imbue the sword, and then we'll do a attack. So that increases it to 7760. The last thing we're going to do is use our wondrous physick. So currently I have the magic shrouding cracked tier, which temporarily boosts magic attacks, and then the spiked cracked tier, which boosts charged attacks. So kind of putting this all together, we will do our sorcery, do the Rallying Standard, imbue our sword, drink the wondrous physick, and then we'll do a charged attack, and that increases it to 9,312, which is pretty good, I think. So wrapping things up, that was a look at the Dark Moon Greatsword at max level. I had a lot of fun playing around with this weapon, particularly just kind of playing around with builds and finding items that would maximize that ranged attack. The way I ended up kind of using the weapon was kind of situational in the sense that you have to kind of plan that attack and go through all the buffs of setting all that up before you attack. But again, I kind of had a lot of fun kind of figuring that out and maximizing the damage of that ranged attack and trying to take advantage of that. Overall, yeah, I think it's a really powerful weapon for those that are a high intelligence build. It's probably one of the best options out there, I would think. And I haven't played this way, but it would be a lot of fun doing sort of a mage warrior hybrid and incorporating a lot of other sorceries as well. My mind and total FP is a little low for that, but I could see kind of redoing a build that focused more on taking advantage of other sorceries as well, and kind of using that in combination with the sword. So we'll leave it there. Again, yeah, I think it's a great option. Definitely something worth considering, leveling up to plus 10 for sure. And hopefully this kind of helps you decide if you want to do that or not. So thanks for watching, and we will see you later. Bye.